Welcome in, everybody, to the last week of the NECC regular season for League of Legends. It is week 7. This is a 7-week regular season. No playoff implications, sadly, tonight, Shibby, as my name is Yanni. I am joined by Shibby, very obviously, as I brought him in before me, as we have Northern Kentucky University taking on the University of Michigan's JV team.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you mentioned, no real playoff implications. You know, as we get later into the season, we kind of see the cream rise to the top, as Macho Man Randy Savage would say. Yeah, exactly. And we kind of get a nice separation of like the top teams, what we're gonna see. You know, maybe like a potential preview of what like shadowboxing certain playoff matchups could be. And I think that's the best. That's the best you could ask for, especially with such a kind of like a short regular season, in my opinion. But a lot of competitive teams, Div 1, Div 2. I mean, NECC has done a very good job of kind of creating a lot of parity when there isn't.
Yeah, and it's really nice that you mentioned that because, we get a look in at the rosters and everything like that. We get the op.ggs and stuff like that as we have University of Michigan on the left side, Northern Kentucky on the right. I mean, these players are actually quite good and would definitely compete in leagues that amateur leagues that we cast around and things like that. As you could take a look, Uper in the top lane, Woohoo in the jungle, NDC Samus in the mid lane, Eren Yeager and Royce Zhu in the bottom lane for University of Michigan. That cream is rising to the top, as you so put it.
Yeah, and Northern Kentucky University, they've got a star-studded roster of themselves. Cleave in the top side, Chaos Rot in the mid lane, Ice Alarm in the jungle. I'm Big W in the bottom lane position, and Flid the Kid at the support. I'm just going to take a second to appreciate the beautiful names that we have competing in here. I'm going to have a blast casting these guys. And NKU Esports, based on their logo, they've got two wolves inside of them. One that wins League of Legends games and ones that loses.
Yeah, they're 3 perfectly balanced as all things should be. We'll see which wolf comes out tonight. It might. I hate to harp on the fact that there's no playoff implications, right? But it might be a little hard for them to kind of get up for this game. Maybe they'll have some fun. We'll see some crazy picks come out. But University of Michigan JV squad, actually, this is relevant for them to maintain good seeding, right? Obviously, if you drop this game completely, that's pretty bad. You're still going to make the playoffs, but yeah, it's a little rough. You'll be the lowest seeded team coming into the playoffs in this division, and that's not what you want.
Yeah. Also, game score really matters as well, just in case for seeding implications here. So they definitely want to come out with a 2-0 win. A 2-1 still might net them that lower seeded spot, like you said. And with the way the playoffs works, right, the highest seed, the lowest seed in the first round, and so on and so forth. So I think maintaining that seeding very, very important. So Kentucky could definitely play a little spoiler, right? They can definitely leave a not so fun surprise at the tail end of the season. So you mentioned it might be hard for them to get up. I know I'm somebody that is fueled by spite and hate, and I know if Kentucky is, then that's what I would do, right? I just be like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that these guys have the worst possible time in playoffs, regardless if I don't make it.
Yeah, I know that's your favorite thing to do, Shibby, is just live off of complete spite, as we are kicking into the draft right now. And there's been some meta changes since we've last been on. You only see us every 2 weeks. So the big thing has been Corki, specifically. This champion has been absolutely busted bonkers once again in the mid lane mostly, as first ban Bard coming out. That doesn't surprise me too much.
Yeah. We mentioned Corki, very, very strong right now, has risen in popularity again in the mid lane. Also in the bot lane, we've been seeing it sparingly here and there. But like you mentioned, some meta changes coming in. A lot of teams are copying kind of the world's picks, right? Things like Galio coming back into the mid lane meta. I mean, we've seen just a lot of like utility AD still being very popular, right? Ashe, Jhin, more, kind of weak side AD carries as well, like Ezreal even, right? Self-sufficient kind of guys that really thrive in some of these metas. But, down in this division in Div 2, when we get here, a lot of these guys will just stick to comfort. That's why you see some kind of unorthodox bans. Like, when's the last time I've seen Fizz or a Fizz ban? It'll only happen really here, as we do see Silas being taken off the board. That's probably the first and second standard bans we see, Silas and Jax here from Michigan side. While NKU, they're just trying to remove comfort away.
And this Ashe ban going to be very good as not only does Aaron Yeager play it a lot, but obviously it's just a crazy champion. Very first pickable, especially the fact that you have first pick over on the side of NKU. We'll see what they opt to do with it, as Cogwell is going to be the last ban. What do you think? Are we going to see a stock standard pick, like a Skarner or something a little wacky here for Chaos Rod, maybe in the jungle?
A lot of good B1s right now. Nice call out there. Like, your
Also
crystal
smart.
ball's working. Yeah, your crystal ball's working here. The Skarner is
I have
gonna
used
be
all of
taken.
my brain power. Do not ask me for anything else.
I was going to ask you for the lottery numbers, but realistically,
7.
NKU, pick just 7. Just 7 is the lottery number here. As Skarner kind of rounds out any sort of composition, right? You can run dive, you can run front to back, you can run pick. Like, it kind of does everything really well. It's one of those stock standard meaty tanks that prevents a lot of compositions as well. Specifically, what Michigan is trying to run here, they might go for that Ari Nocturne combo, which, can be kind of rough to play into these Skarner compositions, into these more Death Ball-y style comps, that if NKU opts to draft here with the Cassante being layered on top, yeah, that's a lot of tankiness. I don't care if you're Jinx or Ari. I don't think you're going to be able to chew through that. Now you're just looking to round it out with a lot of damage, right? High damage AD carry or mid laner. In this case, a lot of AP damage coming out from Ziggs here. Can go in the bottom lane or the mid lane. So now you're just looking for some pretty solid AD damage.
Hear me out, Shibby. Top lane. So good this game.
Yeah,
so
maybe,
good this game.
But they all lock in Gnar instead.
No! All right, it's fine.
Unless
it's fine to the Cassante, right? And it gives you, gives you a nice team fight ultimate to be able to play around. I like these first 3 picks from the side of NKU. I must say, over on the side of Michigan, the Ari is good. I just think the Jinx is a little early for my tastes, especially picking the Jinx into a Skarner. Definitely carries a lot of risk.
Yeah, I mean, R1 through R3, they went AD mid and top lane. That's going to force your jungle and support pool potentially to get pinched from NKU. And I feel like you could have taken Jinx at any moment, right? You could have taken the Gnar at any moment. But I guess because they just showed, their top laner, they didn't want to get their top lane champion pool pinched too much here. When you have a jungle meta as wide open as we do right now, you don't really have to worry about kind of getting pinched here. Jarvan being removed. Most likely the Xin Zhao is going to be taken away. You still got stuff like Sejuani, Maokai available, right? Trundle if you want to get really spicy into like maybe kind of chipping away at some of these tanks here. So for Michigan, I'm looking for an engaged jungler. I'm looking for somebody to go in, but I feel like they're going to get baited by the Nocturne pick. I like this. Wukong is much better at just fundamentally team fighting. You have the ability to go in and get out of fights. You support the Ahri very, very good. And you've got like a pseudo reset composition going with the Jinx, with the Ahri here. So I like rounding it out with the Wukong. But Poppy is a very savant pick for NKU. That's going to probably go in the support role. And that stuff's out Gnar, Ahri, Wukong, and most likely an engaged support, either the Alistar or the Leona or even the Rel. Like, you've got to go Enchanter here if you're Michigan, as they round out the composition with a LeBlanc. AD damage is still my concern for NKU, but I guess if you have Cassante, you can kind of run those no AD compositions, right? You can have that true damage coming in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter all that much, and this LeBlanc pick is going to go so hard. Obviously, the Lulu with the wild growth to be able to buff up an ally that is going to get absolutely jumped on by LeBlanc and have a bunch of damage dealt to them is a good protector of that. And of course, if you can knock them up during the distortion, that's even better. But many of these champions, too squishy on the side of Michigan, right? The only time you'll see a champion get relatively tanky is Mega Gnar. So I'm expecting Isolarm to have a very big game. And yeah, that Poppy pick is a big reason why I didn't like the Wukong. I loved your suggestion of the Trundle, right? We'll see if they go for the Poppy and then still probably take an engaged support anyway. I like the bot lane pairing in of itself. Like, individually, the Michigan team is really good, but when you stare down the other side, I'm not sure how much I like it. I'm a big fan of Northern Kentucky's team composition. Shibby, what say you?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Although I do think Michigan did a good job kind of adapting their game plan a little bit. I said they cannot get baited into picking some of these engaged supports because of the Poppy. So now you have a Lulu that's most likely going to rush Ardent or get that second item, going to put that onto the Jinx, and the Jinx has the ability to shred through this team composition. The more popular Jinx build we have been seeing is the lethality version, although I don't think that's appropriate this game. You want to go for crit, you want to go for armor shred as quick as possible. You get the Lord Dominic's, and then you just kind of try to shred through this team, right? Because Poppy, Skarner, and Cassante are all going to be very beefy members. Although the LeBlanc and Ziggs kind of are an odd pairing as like your dual DPS threats. I was hoping they could maybe match with an AD threat either in the mid lane or potentially shift the Ziggs into the mid lane and go like a traditional AD carry. So now you're kind of putting all that DPS load onto the LeBlanc and Ziggs. LeBlanc, one of those champions that doesn't scale super well into the late game, but the lack of tanky champions on Michigan's side kind of gives her that cushion, right? That little bit of breathing room to where she doesn't have to build 6 items to potentially like burst out a tank. Mini Gnar is going to be super squishy. Ahri is going to be super squishy. LeBlanc and Jinx both are going to be relatively squishy. Like you said, Wukong can get deceptively tanky depending on where his passive is and what he builds, right? Most likely we'll see a Sterax, potentially a GA here. But yeah, like you said, Mega Gnar is really going to be the only tanky one on the Michigan side. But I don't know how NKU can navigate these fights if Ziggs goes down very, very early. Like, they have to play their lives in these team fights because they're the only ones that can pump out this damage.
Yeah, and the good news for LeBlanc is that they have the distortion to be able to dodge out any pick potential that this Ahri might have, that this Wukong might have, but the Ziggs not going to be so lucky. So you said it should be the name of the game is making sure that your double AP carries stay alive for these fights. Poke them down and then blow them up to finish it off. We're going to take a short break as we are waiting for the teams to get in the game, and when we return, we'll be on Summoner's Rift for Game 1 of this best-of-3 series between Northern Kentucky University and the University of Michigan's JV team. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, everybody. Told you the break would be very short. It was just enough time for us to get into game. We're here, Game 1, Northern Kentucky University versus University of Michigan. You can see the wild. There are 2 wolves inside of them. There are 5 wolves inside that bush.
Yeah, there are 5 wolves, like you said. Just maybe prepping for some early aggression from Michigan, right? Maybe they try to get some deep vision on the blue. But I like this, although it kind of does leave you exposed on that red side, as they actually are going to go instead for a kind of a pseudo late invasion.
He's patrolling.
As Woohoo doesn't know.
He's on his patrol. All right, Woohoo's been found out. Poppy slamming him into the wall, but didn't quite get the stun off. So Woohoo will be all right, but that is a Wukong W start.
That is almost as bad as a death. I think I would have given my flash or died there, maybe. I don't know. W start Wukong jungle is not ideal. Either his bot lane leashes him, or he is going to have the slowest clear known to mankind, as he doesn't even get onto his top side yet. Very well played from NKU to kind of just rip this top side quadrant away from Wukong and forcing him the W start. Yeah, that's sad. That's depressing.
We're lane swapping, boys, as Uper is going to be stuck up against the Poppy and the Ziggs. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, It's just Jinx as our Lulu has moved all the way over. That is Royce Zhu showing up to help out. It's nice to see teams at this level even executing these lane swaps.
Yeah, shout out to their coach. And the thing that we should watch for here is that because that top quadrant has been taken and they've sent their top laner into mid and there's 2 people in the top side, this Gnar, this mini Gnar specifically, who has one of the lowest base HPs, is in a very, very rough surprise if he gets Delve here. Yeah, he's backing off the wave. He understands that he's in a lot of danger here. While Cleave on this Cassante, yeah, he's going to take some damage, but picking up that EXP, picking up some of those minions is going to be very crucial for when the lane swaps back to normal and we get back to traditional lane.
Yeah, I mean, he gets it for free, right? He took a little bit of damage, but that's it. You see what Chaos Rot does to Uper. Now, Lulu's up here at least to try to stem the bleeding a little bit, but realistically, Chaos Rot's going to win this 2v1 if he could land a darn boulder.
These 2 level 1 champions just aren't going to be able to do it, and they've zoned off a ton of minions, a ton of gold out of Uper right now. This Gnar into Cassante pick virtually neutralized, at least for the beginning of the laning phase. You see Cassante still struggling, but having a much better time into the Jinx. Crucially, picking up EXP. That's the big thing, is the lane swaps. Gold is an afterthought. We do see a charm land onto Ice Alarm.
Woohoo is here to at least force off Ice Alarm, but did get quality damage down onto Samus. Zaren Yeager is even being forced to back a little bit as Cleave has gotten a foothold in the lane. Uper super low, now finally hitting level 2, but it doesn't matter. The flash slam there from the Poppy. It's first blood.
The moment the Ziggs Q went out, that damage landed. Flid the Kid flipped the switch right onto Uper there and absolutely just destroyed his health bar. Very, very well played. I love that killer instinct, and he still has the Ignite available. So Uper still has to play really safe here.
And Uper had to TP back to the top lane, so he's going to be stuck up there for quite some time now. On the bottom side, we're seeing the Lulu come through. But we're seeing Big W and Flip the Kid walk back up to the top lane, so this will put Cassante back in a 2v1.
Yeah, and so put Cassante in the 2v1, but like we said, Northern Kentucky have gotten what they wanted out of this lane swap, and keeping it this way, especially because Uper had to burn that TP, there is a real angle for Chaos Rot to clear his bottom side, work his way back to the top side. He's got 4 members on that top lane, up that top quadrant. He could play for Raptors, he could play for Golems. He could really just own Woohoo's top side quadrant and force Uper to back off. There is more punishment to come for this Gnar.
Ice Alarm going to take his back and then immediately TP back to catch that large wave. This means that Samus does have a move here, but it's just for a ward, as they'll take a back themselves. And no, they'll stay. I thought they were backing for 1 second. I didn't really know why, as Uper is still just on an island right now. It looks he's so homeless right now.
He's stranded. He's like, Wilson, Wilson, as he's just kind of roaming through the top quadrant of his jungle. Yeah, he's not allowed to really kind of play this lane, unfortunately, because of the Ziggs long range and because of the kill threat of Flid the Kid on this Poppy. Michigan Esports right now, they're kind of just waffling around right now. They don't really have anything to do.
Yeah, they have no direction. You know, they're in their, not their midlife crisis, but their early life crisis, where they have no idea what they're doing. You know, fitting given the fact that happens a lot to college students, and this is a collegiate game. But hopefully Uper will find a way to make an impact on this game. They'll send him to the bot side. So being a 1v1 versus Cleave, but he's 2 levels down on Cleave.
Yeah, Dragon is up. In a couple seconds, the Grubs is going to be up here as Ice Alarm is going to go heavy trading with Samus there. But I would have expected Michigan to start these Dragons early, but the lanes have finally swapped back to traditional. But you look at the item lead, you look at the EXP lead, that's a level 3 Gnar. Yeah, to a level 6 Cassante. Unfortunately, now that you've got these standard lanes, you still can't walk up to your wave. Like, Uper has been effectively shut out of this game for the first 10 minutes.
For the kill on Samus, the roots there. One more auto. No, he went back too early. He would have died to the turret, though. It was a great charm by Samus to make sure that he stays upright.
Really, really well played from Samus there. One more auto from Ice Alarm, and that probably gets the kill here, but they trade 1 for 1 realistically. Both mid laners, even in skill, even in summoners, and even in the CS department, Cleave is going to look for potentially a kill angle. Yeah, the
Cleave's
moment,
got a huge
the moment
wave.
that Q3, yeah, the moment that Q3 comes out, Uper just has to leave here as Woohoo, because of those grubs being taken in that top
Slid
side,
the kid.
has signal that he can take it.
Charges
Lit.
forward right onto the Lulu. Good satchel. The Ignite is on, burning away and goes down. Aaron Yeager, though, is now level 6. Just have that Jinx rocket available. Flip the Kid is very low. I don't know if we'll be able to get around Big W.
Big W just got to be a man and block this.
Great
For
ultimate.
his support here. Big Mega Inferno Bomb forces the barrier out of Aaron Yeager there. And again, another kill set up by Flid the Kid here, albeit he's got both of them on his team, so not the most menacing, but just denying that EXP, making the lane harder, making the game harder. Northern Kentucky, you said they might not wake up, they might not have nothing to play for, but I think these guys, like I said, are fueled by spite and fueled by hate, and they're just making things hard for Michigan.
Cleve is really putting on a one-man show right now. He's done a great job at leveraging his lead to make sure that Uper really can't get close. A wave is constantly pushing into Cleve, and Uper just doesn't have the damage to be able to break this freeze on his own, and Woo shows no signs of trying to head down there and help him out.
Yeah, they've got to either crash this wave or maybe lane swap back up, because he's not having a really good time either way here. I need to see Wukong come back down, but because of his top quadrant getting taken early on, he's going to prioritize these camps. He's going to prioritize getting, securing some of his top side camps here. As Chaos Rod is just going to take advantage. Yeah. Uper's level 5. No flash available as well.
He can hop. See if he's able to time it properly. Cleve getting in close. The flash is burned into the wall with the Ixtal's impact.
That guy's dead.
And Uper is going nowhere. Cleve? Oh. Okay, Cleve got executed, which really sucks for Uper.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Cleve, although does get executed, is Chaos going to be able to get this wave shoved in? TP not available for Uper. Flid the Kid still hiding in the bush. I don't know if Aaron Yeager knows what's happening right now.
Clearly doesn't have any idea, as they're going to go in for a fight right now. Ice Alarm also going to go in for a fight in the mid lane. He's going to solo kill Samus as Woohoo is heading to the top lane to help out. See Lulu quite low. Flid the Kid wants another way in. Woohoo clearing out the ward, so they're aware he's here. Aaron Yeager is going to get the party started as the root goes down from the chompers. Hammer getting channeled but interrupted. Flid the Kid forced to flash away. So he took a super mega death rocket to the face. So the mega inferno bomb forces the flash out of Aaron Yeager.
Big cooldowns invested here, and this dive is not even going to happen as Zig's wave clear, absolutely impossible to contend with. Super mega death rocket, like you said, used. Woohoo also using his Cyclone. That's a big cooldown. That's a lot of his playmaking potential, a lot of his gank potential taken out for the next minute or so. As Cleve and Uper finally kind of evening out in EXP, or at least not as a massive lead right now. Remember, Cleve was 3 levels up at one point against this Gnar. Now it's level 7 to level 8 here, but the CS lead still massive for Cleve right now, and that has garnered Northern Kentucky a 2.5k gold lead, just purely off of that lane swap, but also some really good individual play from both Ice Alarm and Flid the Kid. Yeah,
Flid the Kid has been an absolute stud this game. Chaos Rod's first gank was very successful. Woohoo's first gank was not. Hasn't really been able to do anything with this Cyclone. Now that it's on cooldown, he's going to start up these grubs, but he's going to wish he hadn't. He's going to need to find a way out real soon. He will clone his way out. Teleport getting invested from Cleve to make sure they secure 5 grubs at the very least.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I respect the teleport, but I don't think it was actually needed. Fundamentally, as like an item perspective, Northern Kentucky is just ahead right now, right? You've got double Giant's Belt on your jungler. You've got double Lost Chapter on both your mid and your AP carry. I don't think Michigan was actually going to realistically contest that because Wukong doesn't have his ultimate. So bit of a nitpick, but I think Cleve wasted his TP there. But that secures the grubs regardless. 5-1 split, especially against LeBlanc and Ziggs, who can, in their own right, take down towers very, very quickly inside lanes or even in a, push that they use together.
Yeah, I mean, also, there's strong side laners. Casante's a fairly good side laner. He's not going to light the world on fire when it comes to split pushing turrets, but LeBlanc certainly can. LeBlanc can get auto attacks on these turrets, and getting those extra grubs will mean so much for right now. We did see Isolarm burn his teleport to head to the bottom side. Now he's going to be taking it back here and heading to the mid lane. Cassante into the top lane. We'll see where Big W wants to go. Initially, looks like he's heading toward mid, but we'll see how this actually irons out right now.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon's coming up in about 10 seconds here. They've all got timers. Sending your top laner, or your top laner that was on that bot side, into that top side with no objectives up. And because Eren Yeager and his support are in that top side right now, they're going to have a numbers advantage for NKU. That's going to secure them the grubs. And the top side, when they had 5 members up there, now they got 4 members down bot. They're doing really good map play right now.
Cleave is going to take some auto attacks, but now he's going to turn it around on Eren Yeager with a stun. The all-out gets popped. The barrier gets burnt. The question is, can the Lulu save you? But now the Lulu's in a little bit of trouble. Knocked back into Cleave. Forced to use that wild growth on himself. Cleave just winning the 2v1.
Yeah, very interesting. I feel like Eren Yeager and his support could have just taken this, right? You have wild growth, you've got polymorph, you've got flash available. Like, okay, there is a world where
Samus
they win
is
this,
here.
but instead Samus.
The question is, can Cleave find a way to survive? And he does, attracting 3 members to the top side. The pressure sponge is just so strong right now.
Yeah, and this Cassante, who was supposed to have, you know, kind of a disastrous laning phase, right? Into the Gnar, early range, into melee matchup. Instead, NKU completely avoid that. They bring the Gnar down, and he's not allowed to participate in any of these fights. And even when you go, as a charm does land.
Big W's alone here, but I don't know if Samus is actually going to win this fight. The cooldowns are much lower for Ziggs than they are for Ahri. Flash,
Woo!
charm, Q, but Flid the kid saving his buddy 3-0.
Another slam against the wall
Super
here.
Mega,
Super Mega Death Rocket.
Eren Yeager gets his first.
Yeah, from downtown. Beautiful, beautiful pickup. That's a consolation prize and some much needed gold going into your Jinx. Your hyper carry that is just gonna kind of attempt to shred through these tanks right now as Cleave working towards that Frostborn. Chaos Rot already has his Heartsteel here, so he's really tanky. You look on the side of NKU, majority of them have their legendary items, right? They're ready to fight. In any of these skirmishes, NKU's at a massive advantage right now. Michigan just simply do not have the gold, do not have the personnel to contend with NKU right now, but there is a ticking time limit. Jinx will eventually scale. Wukong will eventually get to that 3-4 item point where he's going to start shredding through your team here as we have flashed over. Look at the individual lead. Specifically, look at that mid and top lead.
Yeah, the top lead is an absolute chasm, to be quite honest with you. No other way to put it. And Isolarm has done a great job picking up minions in side waves. Near that 10 CS a minute mark, it's been just absolutely pristine. This is what you want out of your mid laner at this point of the game, especially on LeBlanc. A champion not known for being really on top of CS.
Yeah, she's a heavy trader, right? She picks up a lot of her gold in CS on the side lanes, but at least in mid when she's 1v1ing, she's really more worried about like causing a lot of pressure, causing a lot of havoc, both in the mid lane and on the map here as Vision does get cleared out, and it's kind of rough for Michigan, right? They're not really working with a lot of wards. They're not really working with a lot of, you know, red wards or control wards here, so they're walking into complete darkness, and especially against Poppy Skarner, like, that's not what you want to do.
And they haven't really been very active on the map, Shibby. Their one kill is because of a Super Mega Death Rocket. There has been no fights with Gnar using his ultimate. There's been no Wukong Cyclones. There just hasn't been anything.
Kentucky has just been outmaneuvering them. To put it simply, right? They were the initiators on the lane swap. They were the initiators on both that top grub fight and that bottom lane secure when they sent their Cassante back to top side, put their bot lane back in the bottom side for that Mountain Dragon. Like, they've just been moving on the map better, and they've been prepping their objectives.
Okay,
Isolarm is going to get the solo.
Flash forward to be able to catch up to the Spirit Rush for the solo kill. Just good stuff by Isolarm.
I mean, yeah, it's really tough for Samus to contend, especially when Isolarm is sitting on Magic Pen Boots plus the Ludens. Like, he just fundamentally has more burst here. As the Ahri is sitting on Malignants plus Merc Treads. Like, that's not a 2-item combo that's meant to contend with the LeBlanc here. You need your Wukong. You need potentially your Jinx here. Kind of fill out the rest of that damage profile. Now Ari's 0-3 and another 2v1 for Cleve.
All right, let's see if he gets it done. The all-out is there, which means there's no chompers to protect Eren Yeager, but the shields are good. Cleve is slowly getting whittled down, but manages to get on top of Eren Yeager. The Wild Growth gets burnt. Cleve is forced to flash away. Super Mega Death Rocket lands flush, and it's a second kill for the AD carry.
Yeah, this is what I was expecting the last time Cleve tried to 2v1. I was like, I'm sure Royce and Eren Yeager at that time had the ability to turn, but maybe they're a little too scared. Static Shiv on Eren Yeager, as well as the Ardent Rush, like we mentioned, from Royce. That gives them more than enough power to contend with Cleve, who got a little overzealous, let's say, as that turret does go down. Some much-needed gold, again, going into the pockets of Eren Yeager. This game for Michigan on his back right now is Uper once again getting slammed into the wall. He's been bullied all game, man.
Uper is just getting stuffed in a locker, stuffed in the trash can, getting swirlies in the toilet. It's a bad time, you know. That thing still happens throughout college, I guess. Is the Dragon getting started up here by NKU, looking to put themselves on their second Dragon of the game. Meanwhile, Cleve finds himself in a 3v1. Why is it? It's always Cleve, Shibby.
1v2 wasn't enough. Cleve didn't like those odds. He wanted to make it a little bit more fair, I guess. He did lose it. He doesn't care. He just throws his body recklessly as that Dragon, well, I don't think was ever going to be contested by Michigan. That one Dragon that they got early on kind of delays that game a little bit. Delays the Dragon Soul, which is Infernal Soul here. Gives Eren Yeager, buys them enough time to potentially scale as Cleve.
Yeah, he's getting slowed up. This might be another kill. The Super Mega Death Rocket lands, and Eren Yeager has a third kill.
Yeah, I don't know about donating kills to the Jinx, especially when you've done such a meticulous job of rotating around the map, right? Doing your due diligence on putting your teammates where they need to be for these objectives. Cleve kind of just throwing multiple sacks of gold to Eren Yeager, the one champion that can really kind of pop off in these team fights, might bite them later on. Let's see if Eren Yeager has the ability to carry these games, because he's damn close to that IE.
It's going to be very scary very soon, Shibby, as we're at 19 minutes in, and what looked like a sure NKU win and a large gold lead has shrunk due to the heroics of Eren Yeager and his pocket Lulu, Royce Zhu. We'll see how the next fight shakes out, though, because we have not seen Eren Yeager appear in a 5v5 fight, and things are going to be much more dangerous. Have to dodge out on Ziggs bombs. Need to watch out for Chaos Rot. And then LeBlanc, of course, can blow you up in the blink of an eye. They're 2-0.
A lot of champions to dodge out, right?
You
don't want to meet them in Fog of War here. Yeah, the Storm Surge Luden's build as well. He's going to go potentially for that Shadow Flame, even could go for that Void Staff, and that's going to give him like pretty much near true damage. I've been loving this build of these AP Assassins, and it is a AD carry's worst nightmare. Doesn't matter if you have Barrier, Heal, Wild Growth, like they're going to pop you for at least minimum 80% of your life bar.
Seeing LeBlanc up on the top side. Cleve down here is going to match up with Samus. Cleve is now level 11 and is on even footing with Uper and is, you know, the lowest, tied for the lowest level solo laner in the game. He's going to find himself in more trouble as Eren Yeager and Royce Zhu just can't stay away from this guy. Leaving a 3v1. He's going to try to get onto Samus here. Uses the Spirit Rush. Oh, ouch, Jinx into no man's lane, but now Woohoo is here to try to cut him off in the pass. Fit the Kid coming through, will knock away the fake Wukong, but blocks the Super Mega Death Rocket. Wild Growth getting popped. Second Cyclone used. Can they take them out? Ice Alarm is in the area. Woohoo barely living, but a double distortion does a ton of damage. Root gonna come down onto this loot. No, not quite. Royce Zhu is able to walk away. Eren Yeager, you can't flash a point and click. A shutdown for Ice Alarm.
And you talked about it earlier when we talked about Eren Yeager being 3-1, how much that he has to contend with, who he has to deal with. Ice Alarm, Big W, Chaos Rot, all just running at him, pressing the W key or clicking at him in this case. Very, very rough. They tried their best. They still couldn't take down Cleve, unfortunately. And a really good job from Flid the Kid once again, right? Blocking the Death Rocket, just playing zone control against the rest of Michigan. That was probably one of the better fights they could have gotten, and they still couldn't get much out of it.
The game is opened right back up for Northern Kentucky, Shibby. as they lead by about 5,000 gold, have a very fed LeBlanc with 8 stacks on a Dark Seal. Super Mega Death Rocket wouldn't have even killed, but it just barely goes wide.
Yep. Grazed her cape there is now.
Felt the breeze.
We can start talking about, Baron for NKU specifically because they're so far ahead. And this is the thing you'll see with a lot of teams in some of these lower divisions, right? They get this lead, they're really far ahead, and they'll opt to continuing skirmishing, or they continue to keep fighting instead of start setting up these Barons, right? And let the fight come to them, right? Force Michigan to respond because they have to contest that Baron whether they want to or not. Because if they give that over, game's pretty much over, right? Mid inhibitor goes down, top lane, so on and so forth. As Cleave is going to opt in for a 1v1 against Uper. I don't think Uper has the tools to deal with this.
No. Unfortunately for Uper, he is still in a 1v1 with a Cassante, and I don't know how often you're going to win that. He does go to Meganar. Will keep his ultimate in the back pocket as Cleave continues to rifle away. Woohoo forced a Cyclone out just before this Dragon.
That's Dragon, yeah.
15 seconds to go on that one. I can't imagine a world where NKU does not put themselves on Soul Point here.
Yeah, they're definitely going to put themselves on Soul Point. Death Rocket, or Super Mega Death Rocket, still available. Could go for the steal, but realistically, defensively cycloning, as I say, that Cleave, buddy!
Cleave has somehow found his way into winning 1v1s and has started losing them, as he will fall to the Super Mega Death Rocket. It's a 4th kill for Eren Yeager. He's got all 4 of them.
I just love how Cleave has thrown away that lead as the Baron does get started. This is a very good call from Michigan. This is one of those calls that will get you right back into the game right now.
They have to make it happen, Chibi. It's getting lower and lower, but a great Ziggs ultimate. Woohoo is super low. Ice Alarm goes in and is like, hey, there's low health bars. He's going to find a way out, but he's right next to Samus.
Got it.
Baron secured by the Wukong. Fid the Kid was stopped in his tracks. They're looking for more. Big W will be able to pick off the Lulu. Uper in trouble too. It's another kill. Shibby, they're starting to fall like dominoes, and Ice Alarm wants to find yet another one. It'll go over to Big W, and Woohoo, the only one with Baron still standing.
That was the rough part, right? If they could burn that Baron fast enough. Unfortunately, the IE Static Shiv Jinx with the Ardent buffs could not burn through it. Ari wasn't there. You saw that Samus got there a little late as well. But nonetheless, honestly, not a bad call.
It was the right call. It was a good move there by the side of Michigan. Who finds himself in quite a bit of trouble, but the Super Mega Death Rocket completely turned the fight around. The Static Shiv procs.
Static Shiv proc, it got the kill.
Jinx had 2 shutdowns.
Ice Alarm. Big shutdowns like you mentioned. Woohoo still has his Baron up as well, so they can go for a push potentially onto the mid lane as we flash towards the gold. What was once a 5,000 gold lead has shrunk to 2.5, and it might shrink further. Eren Yeager and the rest of the gang are here, but Chaos doing his best to contest this wave. I don't think he's going to be able to save this tier 1. Don't sell your soul for it, Chaos.
Don't do it, Chaos Rot. Don't make the mistakes like your team has. It's another objective bounty going over to Michigan, and as you said, Shibby, the lead is quickly evaporating. It is still warm in November, and they've left the water out. Suppression coming down, but Samus still has 2 more Spirit Rushes left in the tank. Now 1, uses the last one, gets out.
That suppression range is deceptively long,
it's
especially
so
at
wide
the end there.
Too.
Yeah. Agreed here as Michigan, with that Baron call, plus a bit of an overstay from NKU in that mid lane and Super Mega Death Rockets being on point, have cut that gold lead like you mentioned, right? And that Baron was such a smart call. You take down their tank, you force Michigan to answer you, especially with that Dragon up. They're most likely taking it. Yes, the Mega Inferno Bomb does get them low enough, but because Woohoo valiantly defended that mid lane turret along with Eren Yeager coming back in for support, as Uper might just die. Chain does go wide, but it's fine here. I think Michigan have done an insane job at coming back here. In a matter of, 2 minutes, they have brought themselves very well back into this game. And NKU, specifically Cleave, you cannot keep dying to Michigan.
Yeah, they have their buddy Cleave to thank for this, Shibby, as he has had some bad times against this Michigan team, and every single time they found him, it's resulted in a play to get Michigan back into the game. Spirit Rush getting burnt here. Cleave is still in all-out mode. But for how much longer? Samus going to use the last one plus the
Oh,
flash.
man.
Put some distance between him and Cleve. If he can get a W speed up, maybe he can get close, but it looks like Cleve is off the hook.
Yeah, those little Bard-esque infernal meeps, I'll call them infernal meeps, give you the move speed you need here.
The Cinders.
But Cleve, Cinders, yeah, infernal meeps is way cooler.
Infernal
Cinders,
Meeps
like you
is
said.
way cooler.
Cleve kind of has to play his life now. You said NKU has Cleve to thank. Eren Yeager has Cleve to thank, because I'm pretty sure 3 of his 6 kills have come from that Kazante kind of getting a little bit over aggressive. Yeah, I might be right here, but he's on his 3-item power spike. Plus, crucially, he's bought the Hex Drinker, which will eventually turn into a Maul Malmortius. Isolarm is going to have a tough time, along with Big W, getting this Jinx within kill range. Like that Storm Surge, Ludens, whatever, that becomes negated very, very soon. Hex Drinker might save his life, but the fact that he has IE, LDR, and Static Shiv, I mean, we talked about him being in a position to carry these fights. He could not be in a better position now on Michigan Esports side.
A critical thing about his build to mention is that this means he won't be at 100% crit.
No, yeah, you're right. I don't think he has any option of reaching it. But at the end of the day, his job is to tear through and just get that one reset. Because eventually,
crit too, though.
even enough auto attacks, you'll crit over time, right? It's kind of like, you know, if I auto fast enough, most of my autos will eventually crit there. As we do see some posturing for this 4th Dragon Soul, like you said, for NKU. They still got a really beefy front line. They can get this initial kill. They might be able to pick this up, but Michigan Esports definitely have something to say about it. LeBlanc, though, on that top side, Isolarm doesn't have too many flank wars to keep Hidu right now.
As long as they don't get caught on the side of NKU, they'll be okay. Samus popping that ultimate, but taken so low. Big W goes down early. Woohoo in the middle of the fight,
the late TP!
The kid knocking him all the way away. Eren Yeager in the face of Ice Alarm. Cleve with the all-out, just trying to get him lower, but the charm is there. The health bar isn't. Double Impale goes down on the correct target. It's a shutdown for Ice Alarm, but he's got to play an elongated fight if he wants to find a way for victory here.
Ice Alarm with the late TP, a good impale, like you mentioned, from Chaos Rot, picks up Eren Yeager. That's going to reset them off of drag. 4 members of Michigan have nothing. They want nothing to do with Ice Alarm. He's got the cooties, man.
Ice Alarm will spot out both of these members. Teleport coming in. Look at the damage done to that Lulu. Storm Razor, see you later. The Dragon has been started up by the side of Michigan. Another TP coming in. This one's from Big W. Ice Alarm wants to try to find a way in to deal damage, but he's going to have to distort over the wall, waiting for that other teleport. It is now Cleve who is coming in. Ice Alarm going back over, but he breaks the ankles of Woohoo and is now on opposite sides and keeps him away from the Dragon. Ice Alarm flashes on top of him, really doing the most right now.
They got it!
They take the soul. Ice Alarm distorting over, breaking the ankles of Woohoo once again. He gets the last laugh. He's 8-1. NKU with the Infernal Soul.
A bit of a sloppy Dragon fight, and even sloppier Dragon attempt from Michigan allows NKU to negate that Baron play, right? They've got Infernal Soul, triple Infernal Dragon as well here. That's just going to give an insane bump in the burst for LeBlanc specifically. Infernal Soul LeBlanc with Storm Surge, and now the Death Cap as well. Ice Alarm is a walking nuke, Yanni.
He's a walking bucket, Shibby. So you call
now NKU.
He's just so strong, man. Ice Alarm
I know, it's
crushing
disgusting.
everybody. I mean, you saw what he did to Royce Zhu. That's just so sad, knowing that, like, hey, I survived the LeBlanc burst. Actually, you didn't.
Yeah, and he had Locket as well. Like, he's got anti-burst technology. It is just not up to date. It needs a firmware update, as NKU are going to start setting themselves up around this Baron. Yep, just...
Baron is on the table here. So we're looking to set up Ice Alarm coming in from the side. Double distortion to chunk out everybody on the back line. Woohoo has to peel back with the rest of his team. And that's all it takes, Shibby. That's all it takes.
Ice Alarm and the rest of NKU don't want to make the same mistake twice. They're going to secure this Baron here with the Infernal Soul in their pockets. And Surely this spells doom for Michigan Esports. A valiant effort at trying to come back into this game, but that one crucial mistake around that Dragon, Woohoo specifically, going over to the other side of Dragon Pit. Okay. Clenching just a little bit, but unfortunately that Super Mega Death Rocket isn't going to be able to take that. And now you've got Infernal Soul and Baron draped in red and purple right now, and they're going to reset with their gold. They're going to start getting their lanes shoving. And I think the crucial thing they need to do here, 1-3-1 would be very good for NKU, right? Cleave on one end of the map, Ice Alarm on the bottom side, and just have your Ziggs, your Skarner, and your Poppy Siege, because it's very tough to contend with this LeBlanc in the side lane. I would argue it's even tough to contend with Cleave here in the side lane. So just leveraging those advantages, especially with the 5 grubs in their hand as well that they secured earlier, could lead to Michigan overforcing or having to pick. We defend mid, we defend top. They've got to give something here if a 1-3-1 does get initiated.
Cleave is now at the peak of his powers, and in order for that strategy to work, Shibby, they just need to make sure, just like this, the wards are getting cleared out, and they're getting vision of their own to make sure they do not get ganged up on. Uper forced to use his ultimate. He's just so scared to fit the kid right now.
Dude, Uper has just not been allowed to play this game, as Cleave is going to get the 1v2.
He's getting the Cleave treatment. It's a 2v1 for right now. Aaron Yeager looking to join the party. And will he get that kill? Not quite. It'll go over to Woohoo, but they managed to get their man. But the problem is, look at what they're losing, Shibby. An inhibitor turret, an inhibitor in the mid lane, an inhibitor in the bot lane. It's a disaster.
Might end up losing their Nexus as 2 waves of cannon minions are going to pour through onto this Nexus. Look at the damage from Big
That's
W.
Disgusting. Double Distortion did so much, and Big W is the one who's got to deal the rest of the damage here. Just got to hit your skill shots and get the job done. And now he's on the Nexus turret, but he's the only one there. Chaos Rod on top of Aaron Yeager just to block the Super Mega Death Rocket. Big W goes gold, and he gets a kill in a 2v1 over on the side. They're going to help him out against the boy Uper. A triple kill for Chaos Rod. And Northern Kentucky University makes a statement in game 1.
34-minute victory here as some back and forth with Michigan, but felt like Northern Kentucky had their hands on the steering wheel the whole time, right? They might have tried to drive with one hand here and there, but realistically, they were always in control. That Baron only delaying the inevitable as Northern Kentucky coming out, like you said, with the statement game 1-0, looking to play, spoiler, looking to mess with Michigan Esports' seeding here. And maybe, just maybe, because Michigan has playoffs locked, they don't actually care about this game too much here, but I don't know. Northern Kentucky, they came to play, man.
I love the driving analogy that you used, because Cleve was sitting in the back seat just snacking on food and then sees a place that he wants to go, and he's like, oh, let's go over here. And he reaches across up into the front seat and just yanks the steering wheel. It's like, dude, get in the trunk, all right? That's exactly what they had to do. And luckily for Northern Kentucky, they got too powerful for Cleve to undo them. Honestly, I'm not trying to rip on Cleve. This is the most 4v6 performance I've seen in my life, especially with how good the early game went with him. I was like, wow, this guy's so smart. He's freezing the wave. Things are really good. And then I'm like, wow, this guy's split pushing. He doesn't have enough vision. He's getting 2v1. He's getting 3v1s. Luckily, Ice Alarm was able to really stabilize that mid toward late game, and really was the big carry in that one. Certainly on the lookout for a potential MVP for the night. But we'll have to see how game 2 and potentially beyond goes. We're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we'll give you the draft for game 2 between Northern Kentucky University and the University of Michigan JV. We'll see you there.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Is a dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh! Yeah. There's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It was worth it.
this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. On the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Stay. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's probably worth it.
Welcome back, everybody, to the NECC regular season for League of Legends. In our best of three between Northern Kentucky University and the University of Michigan's JV team, Northern Kentucky came up huge in the first game, got the first strike down up in the series 1-0, thanks to the heroics out of Ice Alarm. And Flid the Kid.
Yeah.
And Flid the Kid. We
Yes.
cannot
I think
forget about him.
Flid the Kid played very, very well in that early game, right? Kind of popping off in the beginning, right? Keeping Michigan down in the lane swaps, right? I really liked how Northern Kentucky played the lane swap and played the map specifically. Like I said, they were always the ones initiating where to overload the map on the objectives. They gave up one singular dragon and one grub, and that was about it, right? They got both their grubs. They got the ensuing mountain dragon plus 3 infernals. They knew where to position their bot lane beforehand to get them in the right spots. There was never actually a moment for Michigan to contest some of this. From an outsider's perspective, you'd be like, well, why aren't they trying to fight this? Why aren't they there? They just got outmaneuvered. Like, they didn't have the people, right? By the time bot lane for Northern Kentucky was there, Michigan was still stuck top, catching waves, playing catch up, right? And there was a moment where the Jinx could have popped off, but like you said, Ice Alarm just too far ahead and absolutely carried some of these later game team fights.
Yeah, Ice Alarm was playing like he was really hopped up on G Fuel. We want to thank G Fuel, speaking of, for their support for the NECC. You can use the code NECC20 to get 20% off your purchase at gfuel.com. And we also want to thank Wenzel's Farm. If you're sticking around during the downtime, their commercials that they have are almost as good as their meat sticks, and their commercials are damn good, Shibby.
Yeah, I love Wenzel's meat. It's very, very good. As Eddie's,
I hate you. You got me.
As NECC, proud sponsors. As we sides have swapped, Michigan Esports is going to be on the blue side, NKU on the red side here. And we've got Fearless bands. For anybody that doesn't understand the Fearless format or has not been tuned in to the NACL OQs or anything like that, these champions that were picked in Game 1 are not available for the series. So they are locked out. No Jinx, no Ari, no LeBlanc. We are going to see 10 brand new champions in Game 2. So let's see if NKU can pull a little bit more magic out of the hat, or if Michigan is in here for the long haul.
Well, already a lot of similar bands. Silas, Cockmall, Bard, all taken off the table.
Yeah, I don't think either of these teams really need to change their draft strategy, right? Because realistically, Silas still a strong pick in the meta. Kog'Maw is definitely a target ban, as well as Bard and Fizz. Those champions I don't think are ever going to see the rift here, especially against Michigan. So I would expect them to kind of keep their bans very, very similar. The real change happens in round 2 of bans when we start seeing some of these comps get fleshed out. Then you can start seeing the adjustments as the Renekton does get taken away here. But Michigan have B1. And like we mentioned, B1 can be very, very strong. Was the dominant side at Worlds this year with like an insanely high win rate, unless you're T1 here. But a lot of good B1 still on the table.
I like
Right,
it,
you've
Jax
got
here.
Nocturne. Yeah, Nocturne, Jax, like you
Take it
mentioned.
away from Cleve. He looked really uncomfortable on Casante, and just take it away from him. And it looks like that's exactly what University of Michigan is going to do. I'm 2 for 2 today, man. How about that?
2 for 2. 2 for 2 on blue one, B side one, bro. I mean, that's really, really good. That's Steph Curry numbers right now. Is Michigan are going to lock that in, but NKU have a devious answer. The Seraphine coming in. This could go bottom lane. This could go support. I mean, when I say bottom lane, I mean bottom AP carry. This could go mid. Like, this Seraphine doesn't give a lot away here. And the fact that it's going to be paired up with this Xin Zhao, Seraphine does so good with some of these like fighter style champions where she can bounce her encore off of her own teammate and get some of those massive 3-4 man encores that we've seen some of these guys get here as the Nocturne comes in. They've been wanting to pick this champion, I feel. They had it with the Ahri, but they couldn't do it in this Garner. Now that that's removed, let's see what they paired up with. Nocturne Ahri still available on the table for Michigan.
Oh!
Whoa!
Who I don't
Carry
know about
influence.
this one. So, like, I think it's great. I think the University of Michigan has put together a really aggressive first 3 picks here. But the problem is what NKU has here is so good through their first 2 picks. Now, I don't think the Olaf quite matches with what they want to do, but I also think the Olaf is liable to just either run the game or be run down. And if that goes over to Cleve, well, we saw what happened in game 1.
Honestly, it's a Cleve champion, I feel, right? Like,
Oh, definitely.
oh, you want a 1v2? Want a 1v3? Well, I'm probably one of the best 1v2 or 1v3 champions in the game. If you don't have, grievous wounds, if you don't have a way to deal with me, you're going to be in for a rough time. It's really hard to Nocturne ult a lot of these guys as well. Realistically, the Seraphine, as of right now, is the only viable target. Even then, if you surround her with a Galio, if you surround her with some of these more peel-centric tools, I mean, I feel like Nocturne Pike, you're all inning on a very, very specific style of team composition, as NKU are going to remove the Ezreal and the Aurelion Sol. Interesting bans. It feels like they are kind of call-outs here. While on the side of Michigan, they're going to remove some of these tank picks, some of these both peel and engage tank picks in the Rel, in the Nautilus. It feels like NKU is getting backed into the Leona corner.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty okay considering Poppy is not going to be available this game. They're instead going to go with Renata Glask, which, you know what? I think that's great. I think that's actually even better than the Leona. The bailout on this Olaf and on this Xin Zhao is going to be so strong. The double ultimates in a straight line. Listen, you hit people with Encore, you're hitting them with Hostile Takeover. But this is the Mog on you bot lane that is being put together by Aaron Yeager and Royce Zhu. It is Samira Pike. I haven't seen a lane like that since solo queue. And then Malphite to wrap a bow on it. Is this a Malphite mid lane?
This might just be a Malphite mid lane here, but Yanni, I'm gonna take you back in the way back machine as the Cassiopeia gets locked in for NKU. Very good anti-dive tools. Renata, Seraphine, Cassiopeia. But I just wanted to say, I want to take you back about 10 years, Season 3, Season 4. CLG, back when they were in the LCS, used to run a Nocturne Malphite composition. They would turn the lights off, and you had no clue where the Malphite would be ulting from here. It's very hard to react from the Malphite ultimate if you don't know where it's coming from, if you don't see it coming at you like a heat-seeking missile. But Samus, man, this guy's going to have a rough time. His job isn't to win laning phase. His job is to lose very, very gracefully here, as Michigan have dialed the all-in composition to 1,000,000.
I don't know what I'm going to see this game, Shibby, but I hope that it's a lot of kills on either of these teams, as they're on a collision course right now. I think Cleve snuck his way in, and they spot him out. Oh, Cleve didn't
He's baiting,
stay.
he's baiting.
Cleve ran away, and he is baiting. Look at this! The root on damn near everybody. It hits so many members. 2 kills for NKU. Aaron Yeager had to flash. Uper manages to keep his summoners, but what a start for NKU.
Cleve, the bait master here, as he's going to pick up 2 kills for his team. 2 assists. I mean, that was masterful, right?
Big W dropped the beat
we've
on
got
him.
Cleve. Yeah. They dropped a big beat, as now Flash from Aaron Yeager is going to kind of reduce some of that kill potential that we would typically see from a Pyke Samira lane, but this lane really pops off at level 6. Level 6 is where Michigan Esports composition pops off in general, right? You've got Malphite, Nocturne, Samira, Pyke. All it takes is that 1 kill, and then you can kind of start pseudo-resetting with the Samira as she starts dashing around with that Infernal trigger. But NKU, they just got to play the waiting game. They got to sit back, relax, and just wait for Michigan Esports to come into them, as they've got so many tools, right? Renata Ultimate, the Encore from Seraphine. You've got Petrifying Gaze from the Cassiopeia. And if you have all this damage coming in, well, Chaos Rock can press the ultimate button.
Cleve is going to win this 1v1, by the way.
Cleve-
Uper has to flash. It's flash for flash, as Cleve thought he had him for sure. But Cleve, he might die to the minions. He's healing up. Oh, my goodness. So close. Uper might hit level 2 in a minion or 2 and just go in for a kill. This lane already on a knife's edge, Shibby.
Oh, yeah, Cleve. Abusing those axes right now. And that long-range poke, or I will say long-range, mid-range poke from those axes really gives Olaf the ability to look for those
Cleve
kill
just
angles.
walked
As you
up.
say it, though.
Cleve just walked up. He's going to get a shield, but he's out of mana right now. What is going on up here? Chaos Rod is
Chaos
in the
Rod
area. He's looking for a dive, but guess what? Woohoo's up here too. They're going to spot each other out, but Chaos Rod is there first. The question is, can this wave get cleared? Uper is going to go in first on the Cleve. Cleve going to get a big shield. Still alive. When he becomes lightning, doesn't land. And now Woo on top of Chaos Rod. Chaos Rod's going to get feared, but he's up against the wall. He's going to have to flash over. Woohoo's going to follow him up. And now Woohoo's in a 2v1, but Woohoo's winning the 2v1. No assistance needed.
That's not Woohoo, that's Toohoo! Oh my god, the double kill for the Nocturne here!
No, bro, that's
Really,
not Tuhu,
really?
that's Woohoo!
No, that's woohoo, right? The double kill. As we have a little too much fun. Very heads-up jungle pathing, understanding that Chaos Rot has one play and one play only, because Uper has the mana advantage, he had the wave advantage. You could see that Cleaver was in a tough spot there, and with no TP available, is going to have to take the Walk of Shame back to lane. Uper is going to be able to shove this in, back out, and be able to get a nice recall with item advantage. This game going a lot different, but Yanni, we talked about it. It's going to be bloody, it's going to be brutal, and so far, 4 kills in 4 minutes.
Yeah, and Woohoo a step ahead on levels right now. He's level 4 compared to Chaos Rot's level 3. Guess what? Nocturne level 6. We're going to start seeing the lights get turned out. Some of these members are going to have a hard time dealing with that. Really, the only person that's able to deal with this sort of thing is really Ice Alarm, right? If Cleve is behind, Woohoo can just kill him by getting on top of him. Same with Chaos Rot and same with this bot lane.
Yeah, it's tough here for the side of MKU. If, like you said, Woohoo gets ahead. If he starts like kind of shredding through a lot of these guys, is Samus. We talked about him having a decently rough time here.
Oh,
Cleve picks up the solo kill on the top side. I wish we got to see what happened, but all we could know is that Uper unfortunately took a terrible trade as Ice Alarm.
Ice Alarm, good flash there. He's going to turn it around for a lot of damage onto this Pyke. Golly.
I like the look from Royce. This is what you have to do as Pyke here. But the fact that you picked a Samira, she's not these self-sufficient laners, right? She's not an Ezreal. She's not a Jhin. She's not a Varus. She's not somebody that can farm from far away. So now you make the tough decision as a support Pyke. Do I roam into the mid lane because I'm a superior roamer? Or do I have to stay in the bottom lane so I can look for these kill opportunities so I can get my Samira ahead? Samira is not functionally a champion until she gets some kills, until she gets some gold. She has to be ahead of the damage curve. And if she's not, she's just going to get absolutely rolled by this Samira and Renata.
It'll be bad news, but luckily the Pyke has shown up and Flid the Kid is going to have to move around. One thing we didn't talk about was with Flid the Kid getting that kill at level 1, that meant he was able to come back to lane with boots. Really good item against Pyke, as it turns out.
Really good item against Pyke, and really good item against those short-range AD carries, right? You can play the range leash game even better because of how Samira functions as a champion. As Flint the Kid and Big W both hit level 5 here. They've got a level advantage.
Oh, no
He's there to
handshake
kill
on Flint the
angle,
Kid. He does not succeed the sidestep, and now he's going to get stunned as well. I don't think these boots are going to help you out, but as Pyke gets the kill with the Ignite.
No handshake, gives the single for Royce to come in there, and very nice on landing every single one of his abilities. The pull, the stun, and there's not much, like you said, Flint the Kid could do. And you've got to save that exhaust, right? There may have been an angle, but the thing is, the exhaust should be used when Eren Yeager hits 6, and he has to cleanse it, right? He has to cleanse it for his ultimate here. Nice pickup from Michigan. Again, 6 kills, 6 minutes in, as Chaos Rot is going to start the hunt for these grubs right now, and Woohoo might have something to say about it. One grub goes down, but look at where Pyke is. Look at where Royce is right now.
Chaos Rot's going to have to run this one out. So it'll be 2 grubs going over to the side of Michigan and 1 for NKU. Things overall okay for NKU despite losing their super large lead. You know, you've got that kill from Cleve, that solo kill. He's up big on CS right now. I mean, just take a look. He's up just about 700 gold. Obviously, that difference is equalized in the jungle to no fault of Chaos Rot, really. The mid lane, Ice Alarm has been doing good in CS, and then Big W's been doing his thing too. There's that unstoppable force. Good block on the root as well. The Encore comes down. Flint the Kid is so low and will get queued and go down. Eren Yeager gets the kill.
Good roam from Samus. That's pretty much the best you can get, especially because you're in that really tough matchup against the Cassiopeia. Getting that roam and focusing down Flint the Kid, who doesn't have flash. The exhaust went down, but it just wasn't enough. Doesn't allow him to live through that, and he's gonna have to eat a lot more of those, right? Like Flint the Kid is gonna be a prime ult target for both Woohoo and Samus as long as this guy's flash is down here. Eren Yeager has full sums available. Royce as well, has full sums with the flash and the ignite coming up very, very soon. This bot lane could get a lot bloodier before it gets better for NKU.
We can see Cleve doing a good job once again up on the top side with wave management. It's something that a lot of players tend to struggle with, and he's really excellent at it. And as long as he's a little bit better on the side lane this game, I'd say that Northern Kentucky is in really good shape despite being down in kills, despite it being a 600 gold difference, and the fact that, you know, Michigan is going to spike really hard really soon. Woohoo is here. Doesn't have that paranoia, but why use it? They're not in any danger down here.
Yeah, but you said they've got to start using some of these initiation tools. They've got to start skirmishing along the map and get some of these objectives, get some of these early game leads. Level 6 is when this team needs to start just picking fights, either in the mid lane, in the top lane, in the bot lane, like you mentioned. No handshake.
Well, there's the stun on to Flint the Kid, but Eren Yeager can't get closer because of that handshake. Uper goes down to the wind, becomes lightning. Full 300 gold going over to Chaos Rot. Give him back into the game just a little bit. Meanwhile, Nocturne on the bottom side, channeling a recall, but does have that paranoia once again. Pyke wants to go in, but is just shoving them off. And they're very aware that something's not quite right here because Royce is getting a little too aggressive. I like that Royce is pulling the wave here. Here we go. Ultimate's going to get dropped down. It's going to go on to Renata, but he gets blocked by Eren Yeager. Gets spell shielded by Woohoo. Good sidestep from Flint the Kid. And he does not survive. I thought he maybe had it. He will not be bailed out here. Another good play on the bottom side from Michigan.
A lot invested. The flash from Eren Yeager, the ultimate from Woohoo, is he's probably going to be able to get 1 to maybe 2 more off prior to laning phase ends, but we talk about it all the time. Nocturne's ultimate have to result in more than just kills. You've got to get objectives off of it. Start this dragon here, as we do see Woohoo actually going to channel a recall right onto Vision as his whole top quadrant gets absolutely eaten alive by Chaos Rot here. He's going to come back to nothing. Ice Alarm?
Ice Alarm has no flash, and the ultimate doesn't hit Samus. Samus is forced to flash, so you burned that cooldown, but not exactly what you wanted. Meanwhile, Cleve just says to Uper, K, leave.
We talked about him not being so comfortable on the Cassante. We were wrong. We miscategorized him. He's a solo kill machine. He needed to be on something like a fighter, like a bruiser, like the Olaf, where he can really shine. Taking the Jax away, maybe was not the right move here. The guy's name is Cleave. He might be an Olaf main.
No, he's a Jax main. I did my homework. That's why I was like, oh, you should pick away the Jax here. I think it was a good pick away here. Wait. Huh?
Huh? You blink and you miss it.
Yeah, for real. I mean, Cleve's going to see this wave, and he's going to go for it. Yep, he's just a greeter dog, as the rest of his team will be able to start up on this dragon because everything's on fire. They've sent Uper into the mid lane, into this Cassiopeia. That's how bad their solo lanes have fallen apart.
And Yanni, Uper might have heard you last game talking about this guy was feeding kills. He was a detriment to NKU. Well, he's like, you know what? Let me show you something. Let me show you something real quick. 3-1-3 on this Olaf. An absolute black hole of pressure in that top side. And pretty much anywhere he goes, yes, Michigan is going to be able to pick up these grubs. It's going to be a 3-3 split. The Dragon going over into NKU. Definitely plays into their long con game. Definitely plays into their Dragon stacking game. And realistically, Cleave does not have an answer from Michigan Esports.
Yeah.
Whether you send the Jack,
who's going to stop
whether
him?
you send the Malphite, no one. You've
They're
got to send 3 members
melee.
for this guy.
4 melee, and Aaron Yeager likes to get into the middle of things with the Inferno trigger. Like, Cleave is just going to have his ultimate up for the entirety of a fight. Good. Double ultimates expended here. Double stun for Ice Alarm, but does end up falling. They need more of that on the side of Michigan to turn this game heavily into their favor.
Yeah, as long as Ice Alarm's flashes down, that's going to happen on rinse repeat, right? 4-1-1 on the jungler here, Woohoo, as he's also built that experimental hex plate. That's going to give him extra ultimate cooldown. Yeah, another 3-level lead for Cleave here. Like, Cleave has all the potential to just win this game for his team. Despite the hard engage coming out from Michigan Esports, they don't have an answer for Cleave. And if Cleave decides to join some of these fights, or he just starts pushing these turrets down,
he's going to Ragnarok the house. And he's going to take out Uper. Another solo kill for Cleave.
Uper's 0-4 right now. That man is not having a fun time in that top lane. And we talked about Cleave being a black hole of pressure. His job, split push. His job, take 3 members from Michigan and put them into that top side here as we flash the gold really quickly. Our observer adding insult to injury, nearly 3,000 gold ahead for Cleave here on his counterpart. Like we said, black hole of pressure. I don't know how you're going to deal with him. And Chaos Rot taking full advantage of it. Another topside quadrant steal from Chaos Rot. He's going to take that, I believe, the Gromp. And I don't know if Woo has the confidence to ult into Cleave here. I don't know if they win 1v2.
I'm not sure they do, Shibby. And really, I love that you mentioned the quadrants going the way of Chaos Rot. We do have a fight down here. Aaron Yeager burns the cleanse, but then gets charmed up immediately after. So no further engagement from Michigan, but I mean, you're starving Woohoo of these jungle camps, and yes, he has 91 CS right now, but the more you take his jungle, the less income he's actually going to get, and you're going to do a good job of setting him behind without actually having to kill him.
Exactly, as Woohoo now trying to recognize that, hey, my top quadrant's probably already gone. I've got to figure out what to do here. Gromp is available. With this pressure in the bottom side, though, that looks like they're going to end for a dive. Double flashes are up. Exhaust is also up for Flint. Yeah, you can't do anything here. I don't think they can dive. This is a very risky play. Well, you might just lose the game completely off of this.
They're going to invest Malphite ultimate, I'm sure. Good flash from the Pike. Flint the Kid has to flash away. But Samus can't get close, so they're spending a lot of time here, but not actually getting anything other than a minion wave.
And they get Rift Herald on the side of Michigan Esports. That's going to get dropped in the top side, and Uper, unfortunately, is going to go down.
Oh, yeah. And they're just going to chase him this time. Ragnarok is on. Uper flashes, but the wind became lightning. Is another kill on the top side. And Crash is going to go through. They could have saved it. But they like the not too Chaos Rot. Will hop in the robot now. Get the second charge off down to half HP. It looks like they will take this top inner turret as well. More gold going into this top side. So much right now. The lead is pretty much all Cleave, and Chaos Rot has got a little bit more gold back in his pockets too. And he's going to take this blue buff away on top of it.
Yeah, he's just been doing a really good job living in this top side here. And you got to realize Ice Alarm, even though he's been getting kind of focused down as Samus is going to back out.
He dodged everything.
Because Samus has been roaming so much, right, into that bot side. You saw him go top lane. That has given Ice Alarm so much free time, both with the turret and with the mid lane farming minions. He's got Roa. He's going to have Archangels very, very soon. It's going to get very tough to burst this guy down with Malphite Nocturne because he's just so innately tanky with his build.
Yeah, he really is. One thing to note that we didn't really talk about, Samus is full AP.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not too surprised
can you
by
do?
it, but it's not something we really mentioned, and they don't have the consistent damage to be able to actually kill him quickly unless Cleave is nearby. So keep an eye out for that as the dragon has been started up. Samus is ready to go.
Need to fight.
Flash knockup only onto one, but it splits off Ice Alarm. Huge charm coming out with the Berserk on top of it. The two strongest members on Michigan were just beating the tar out of each other. And now Uper's stuck in the back of the pit. He's 4 levels down of Cleave. And the question is, who gets the kill? And Cleave picks up number 6. Shibby, I know it's only 17 minutes in, but you have to think that that nail is starting to get driven into that coffin.
That's the backbreaker, right? The spine shatterer coming out from NKU there. I mean, Michigan Esports kind of also whiffed their combo. You've got to start with the Nocturne ultimate so that they cannot flash and react to the Malphite ult. You saw Malphite, or Samus in this case, flash ult over, and crucially, Ice Alarm was able to out-flash it. He didn't even get hit by the Malphite ultimate. That allowed for the turn. Flid the Kid, once again, showing his prowess in the support role, is able to get a massive hostile takeover onto 4 members. And you've just lined everybody up for Michigan to get absolutely served on a platter to both Cleave and Ice Alarm. I mean, that was your one fight. That was your one shot if you were Michigan Esports. Now your comp is useless. It's like giving fish to fire. It's like giving fire to a fish. Sorry. You can't do anything with it.
Rough stuff here for Michigan. You thought it would be their time with Woohoo and Samus, but weren't able to link up on that big play. Now they're going to try again. They're only going to get Flid the Kid, and Flid the Kid survives.
Look at that. Your comp is done. Like, it had a timer, and unfortunately, because NKU got so far ahead in the early game, Michigan Esports wasn't able to force enough early. As they're gonna send 4 for Cleave. Brother, you might need the whole server.
Here we go. Cleave's going to pop his ultimate. He's going to get onto Samus. Now he's looking for Aaron Yeager. Yeager good dashes back, but I mean, Cleave is just really running this fight. He's picked up 1. He's picked up 2. Oh my goodness! Cleave, you've got to be kidding me! A triple kill and a true 4v1.
1v4, and Cleave likes those odds, baby, as he comes out the victor of that Hell in a Cell in the bot
Get him,
lane.
Cleave!
Woohoo!
Boom, baby! The true 4 kills in a 3v1 and then a 1v1. My goodness, this man is on fire. You would think that he was just playing with T1 this past weekend.
10-1 on Cleave here. Yanni, you heard us talking. He's like, you know what? I'm hinted last game, but this dude absolutely being the focal point for MKU. A masterclass in the Olaf as we flash to the gold once again. Yanni, I just want you to comprehend what I'm seeing. How much farther in gold is Cleave against Uper, his counterpart?
Oh my god, he's doubling him up and then some.
What do you call that's so being a 100 CS up on your laner is a flame. What do you call being triple the gold on your laner?
He's just
Scrooge
Bezos.
McDuck?
He's Jeff Bezosing
Bezoing?
him.
Yeah, he's Bezosing him, bro. That's Cleave is Amazon, and he's got a giant package delivered to Michigan Esports. It's a fat L.
Yeah, really. With Prime delivery on top of that, he's cutting off the
Same
top
day.
of Uper right now, and he's gonna get to that Flame Horizon. Woohoo is the only strong member, and Now he's getting run down by Cleve, who pops the Ragnarok, lets Woohoo off the hook, misses the axe. I think Cleve got a little too big for his britches there. But Samus, they still want this fight. I'm really surprised by this, Chibi. The Encore doesn't land. NKU has done everything possible to lose this fight, and yet they are still winning. Uper's got to leap away. Knockup only on to one member once again, but it is Ice Alarm. Ice Alarm does survive, and Chaos Rot in the base, taking a couple turret shots, but lives anyway.
And surely this spells the base getting cracked open. No Baron, no problem, as they might just look for the end here. These guys are so healthy right now.
First inhibitor turret has fallen, and the top inhibitor will go down, and NKU will take that as their time to head out. Pike not going to be able to pull anybody over the wall, but yeah, they're okay with this. They're like, whatever, let's just go to Baron. Let's finish this up. Oh, let's clear out this jungle, put Woohoo even further behind.
With the kid playing defense right now, is Royce looking for something right now.
You have to try
Maybe you get an opportunistic kill, but yeah, you've just got to find that engage and hopefully burst somebody out here as the Baron does get started. Yeah, I mean, they have to. They don't have a choice. They need to find a fight right now.
Well, Woohoo is preoccupied with the Gromp right now. Aaron Yeager on the way, but this Baron is down to 3,000, 2,000. Still getting lower. See if Samus goes in. He finds a double knockup. Now they're in the back of the pit. Can we see an Inferno trigger come out? Not so, as the CC is there. But on the other side, it's Cleve who can't find a way in. Uper trying to get this kill on the Ice Alarm. He's so close, but he can't do it. Cleve was barely in that fight, and still Michigan falls to pieces.
Cleve crucially took down the strongest, or what would have been the strongest member in that fight. Aaron Yeager went down as the Olaf relentlessly chasing the Samira across the Baron pit, around the Baron pit there, and that was probably the best shot you got for Michigan Esports. As their top lane inhibitor goes down, mid lane inhibitor as well with the Baron. Nice from Royce to pick up that kill. Maybe stifle some of that push here, but they're going to go back on the NKU side. The two Wolves are going to go take that Infernal Dragon. Cleve is a monster.
Yeah, Cleve is just standing there menacingly. They pull him in and they hit him with everything, and he gained HP. Oh, Chaos Rot could find himself in a 2v1, but he is winning this 2v1. He is 2 levels up on Woohoo right now. There's a stun from Uper. They force the flash. Triple knockup from Samus. They turn out the lights, going on top of the Seraphine, but a big encore should wrap it up. It's a double kill for Cleve. Uper once again getting chased down. Who's gonna get it? It's Chaos Rod with his 6th kill. Can't even match half of Cleve's. Shibby, the death timers are long. The Pike is nowhere to be found. The Nexus turrets are going down. The Nexus will fall. A 2-0 victory for Northern Kentucky University, ending their season on a high note, not making playoffs, but a 4-3 showing in a division where there were many 4-3 finishers is nothing to be upset about.
We talked about putting Cleve in the trunk. This man said, no, give me the keys. I'm going to go into the driver's seat here. Massive performance here. We saw the 2 Wolves. That's why NKU has the 2 Wolves. It was Cleve on Cassante and Cleve on the Olaf here, but very well played from them. They come out with the win. They play a little spoiler for Michigan, who now has, I believe, a lower seeding in the playoffs here. So that's gonna sting a little bit. You always, I think, want to go into playoffs on an upswing. You don't want to go into it after losing such a game like this, and potentially NKU have brought out the blueprint to beat Michigan here. A lot of teams should look at this as for their upcoming playoff match and understand, like, hey, maybe we can replicate a lot of what NKU did, right? Maybe we can find out these same compositions, ban out these champions, as Michigan Esports does have a lot of work to do. But yeah, NKU, hang your heads high, man. Even if you didn't make playoffs, damn good season, damn good game to cap off the regular season. Just a very good performance from NKU here. Probably not what most people were expecting, though.
Yeah, and was really impressed with Cleve, even though he got caught out in game 1 very often later on. His laning prowess was really excellent, and that's what you're going to want to expose if you're playing against Michigan. You're going to go after Uper, you're going to pick on him all game long, and see what it yields you. Now, Shibby, with everybody having some good performances on Northern Kentucky, if not inconsistent, Isolarm didn't really play that well in game 2, but Cleve had that game 1. Who do you think was the MVP of tonight's match?
MVP. I feel like, despite what happened in game 1, and granted, game 2, very recency bias, stuff like that, I feel like Cleve deserves it because despite, the Cassante performance, going inting and stuff like that, he played the early game very well, right? And that is something that I commend, right? Even if he was taking those 1v2s, 1v3s, and giving gold over, I think the fact that he's able to bounce back from that and have such a tremendous performance on this Olaf, like, this guy stood out. Like, you just said it yourself, right? Isolarm not having the performance he could in game 1, in game 2. The fact that Cleve just steps up immediately and is like, yeah, I'm the carry threat. I wouldn't be mad if you give it to either of these guys. There is like an outside dark horse pick for Flint the Kid because he is the most consistent. He was the most consistent. Like, he played at a high level consistently. Was it amazing? Was it the way that Cleve and Isolarm did? No, but that's just kind of a function of the support role. I think him flopping over from both the Poppy to the Renata, two very fundamentally different champions, and having major impact like he did, you could argue it's for him. I wouldn't be mad at either of those three, but I think for me, I think Cleve did a very good job in those 2 games, leveraging the advantages he had.
Yeah, Isolarm really passed the G Fuel over to Cleve from game 1 into game 2. And you can pass G Fuel to yourself because you can go to G Fuel's website, gfuel.com, and use the code NECC20 for 20% off all products there. So get to clicking on that website. And of course, Wenzel Farms, I mean, the meat sticks are so good. Cleve clearly had a couple of meat sticks before game 2 because he had the power packed with protein, flexing the muscles for a big victory for Northern Kentucky University to end their season on a high note. And we're going to end the rest of the regular season for all the games on a high note because we have Rainbow Six tomorrow, Rocket League on Thursday, and then Overwatch 2 on Friday. Same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern here on the NECC channel. And we hope 7:30. It's 7:30 for Rainbow Six. I have been trolled 30 minutes earlier. 7:30 for Rainbow Six. It's still 8 for everything else. So be here or be there. Okay, it's 7 for everything else. I've just been trolled the entire time. All right, that means it's probably time to go at this point. So for myself, for Shibby, for Rare Adam behind the glass, as well as Chippy, we want to thank you all for being here. And we hope to see you tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern for Rainbow Six.